What's good, everybody? It's the Shotcallers coming at y'all. We got a pair of interesting games today. Interesting, to say the least. I got Robin with me. Say what's up, Robin.
What's up, guys?
And then Richard will be joining us shortly. But just to shout out our social medias and stuff real quick. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Shotcallers Show. Follow us on YouTube at the Shot Callers. Links will be in our Twitter and Instagram. So really follow us there, interact with us. We put out polls before the game. You can try and interact with us, send us DMs on Twitter, tweet at us. We're looking to interact with y'all on the YouTube. Make sure y'all subscribe. We're also on everywhere that you can find podcasts, so Spotify, uh, uh, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. You can find us there. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into these games. For this first one, we got on TNT, we got Charlotte versus Brooklyn. I thought, it was probably gonna be a closer game than what it was based on my picks. I picked Charlotte to, not to necessarily win, but make it close. Obviously, how it panned out, I was very wrong. Uh, they got blown out pretty much from the get go. But uh, really, when I was watching this game, I was trying to look out for uh, LaMarcus Aldridge and see his impact. I also that went with my prediction, like James Harden is out, Blake Griffin is out. A lot of those a lot of those guys are out. So I thought, Charlotte is a solid team, even though LaMelo is unfortunately out. Potentially for the whole season, which is really annoying. Like so many good players have been are like out, like MVP caliber players. They've been out, so it's really unfortunate. But I thought Charlotte was a close or a solid team. I thought, but I was proven wrong. What you think, Robin?
Yeah, I feel like Charlotte didn't have a lot of manpower out there in the first quarter. Their shots were not falling. They had 11 points, so
Yeah.
obviously they were doing something wrong there. But I think this kind of shows that they miss LaMelo Ball more than everybody thinks. He gets them a lot of easy shots. He pushes the ball. They do really good on fast break after turnovers. I think that's what Chris Webber said during the game.
Yeah.
It felt like they were just too stationary. They were doing a lot of one pass shot, quick shot in the shot
Mm,
clock possessions. And I mean, score 11 points in the first quarter, that's not good at all. And then the second quarter, they scored 37. So it's a
mm,
little bit better. So obviously they got their rhythm going. But in the NBA, if you get down big early, it's not a good sign. It's kind of hard to claw your way back. Besides like the Nuggets in the bubble, they did it with ease. But um, the Hornets just I don't I think they're one of those teams to where they're going towards the right level, like they're getting there, but tonight they did not look like it. It was pretty uninteresting from the start. I kind of almost fell asleep, especially with the Nets. The Nets played a good game. They had the ball move me. No James Harden dribbling, for I had to throw it in there because Rich is not here, so he can't really say nothing right now. No, I'm just kidding. But Kyrie, obviously, is their star player tonight. He was the only one of the big three that played, and it felt like he didn't even take over. He just kind of let everyone get involved. 11 boards, 8 assists. I think only 15, 17 points, I mean, 15 points. So he did his thing. LaMarcus Aldridge, 4 for 10 in his debut, but it was just the shooters, man. Like Jeff Green got 21 points. It was all of them just kind of a group effort and the energy level. That's something. Even their bench mob was going crazy. Kyrie was happy that LaMarcus was scoring.
he
Something
hit
that I
the.
really,
I don't know if you saw. He hit the LaMarcus run. He hit the.
yeah, yeah, he hit the little shimmy too. Uh, yeah, I mean, it was something that on their whole starting lineup had a positive plus minus. So it's something that they all did together. But it's gonna be interesting to see like their rotations when they actually get healthy with KD, Kyrie, Harden, LaMarcus, Blake Griffin, Jeff Green, DeAndre Jordan. Like it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna fit all that together and who's gonna be the odd man out. I already even mentioned Joe Harris. Like they got a lot of key pieces, so I think they're well equipped because in the playoffs, like even the Lakers last year, y'all saw that against different teams in or in the playoffs, you're gonna have different rotations, especially closing up the games. So I think they're really deep, which is good to have because usually when you have a big three, what's so
No,
funny?
I was gonna say understatement of the year.
Yeah, they're deep. I know they're like people are saying they're a super team, but usually when you have like three or four star players, your bench isn't as good. Kyle, what is so funny?
You're funny cause you think they're a super team.
Yeah,
You're like people say they're a
I didn't want the internet to know that. Jesus,
oh,
gosh.
we'll put it out. It was going out there one way or another. It was gonna get out there one
Yeah,
day.
I think they're a super team. But anyways, like even with the Warriors, like when they got KD, their depth kind of went away, so they had to rely on their stars. But if you have three of or two of your stars out, Blake Griffin is out, you can still score with ease, and your energy is levels there on defense. It's gonna be scary to see them in the playoffs. And then for the Hornets, I think they're one of the teams you just gotta see in the future. They're kind of like the Pelicans. They're getting there slowly, but a lot of people are expecting him to take that leap or whatever. It takes time to get up there. Curry wasn't, Golden State, Curry, Thompson, and Draymond. They weren't born in a season or two. They had a couple years where they were knocked out early in the playoffs, didn't make the playoffs. So it is something that's going to get there. But they should not be on national TV without LaMelo Ball. I'm sorry. I'm
Well,
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I think that really in the first quarter, they were just like it was a combination of LaMelo, not being able to create easier shots for them. Like they had a hard time. They were going through their uh, offense pretty well. I think they were going through their motions, but they just could not get a shot to fall. Like they had a really off first quarter, and it was a little bit of Lamelo not being out there and not being able to create easy looks for them to get them going. At the same time, this team is also really young, like you were saying. Uh, Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward are probably the two oldest players, and Gordon Hayward's like 32, and Terry Rozier is probably like 30 something. So this team is really young, and they're really talented. They also didn't hit any threes. I thought, one of their strong suits is when, they come out and they hit a lot of threes. Tonight they went 13 for 38 from three, 34%. So not good enough, especially against the Brooklyn Nets. And the thing about the Nets too, like, because they're so hyper offensive, like when they get out to a really good lead like that, you're not coming back. Charlotte's had some great comebacks against, weaker teams this year. I mean, against, a couple of different teams. I guess I'm thinking of Sacramento the most. Sacramento's got a good offense, but they're horrible on defense, kind of like Brooklyn. But Brooklyn just, their their team doesn't make sense to me, honestly. They're so good, like they've been so good, like even before, they've got all these other pieces, and the fact that let me just get back to that. Their offense is really good, so they're not ever gonna be able to slow down enough for you to come back. Like
Yeah,
they got Kyrie, if they need a bucket, Kyrie will get a bucket. If Kyrie's slowing down or whatever, you got Joe Harris hitting the three, Jeff Green hitting the three, Landry Shamet hitting the three. Like all their guys get involved, and LaMarcus, uh, he didn't really have like the greatest start in my opinion. He was a little bit off, but it's literally like his first game, so I can't be too hard on him. But what I guess the biggest future impact that I saw that he had is like his passing.
yeah,
Everybody that comes out of the Spurs under Greg Popovich, they're good at passing. So he developed that skill, and it looks to be one of his strongest attributes on this team. But yeah, like I was saying, this team just, it doesn't make sense to me. Like they're too deep. Like it's crazy how they were able to add pieces like James Harden and LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, and obviously LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, previously they haven't been playing so well, but if they're able to bring out, experience and they're able to try a little bit harder because they're in a better situation and they like the environment better and whatnot. Uh, then it makes them like even crazier because they've got Bruce Brown. He's been playing well. He's been on the team the whole time. Landry Shamet, he's been playing really well. He was like their leading scorer like for I think the first half. Uh, Jeff Green. Uh, and the crazy thing is like their team was already good like at the beginning of the season. They had Jared Allen and Karis LeVert. Like it's really insane to me like how they were able to sign so many good players even though they were already really really good. Like it's just mind-boggling to me. I don't know how to make sense of it.
Yeah, and the thing I like about it is like the unselfishness though. Like today, obviously Kyrie's kind of like the only star player that was playing, and on the bench he was getting happy that LaMarcus was scoring. I think he had like back-to-back jumpers, and he got back in the game, and instead of him going on attack mode, he fed the ball back to LaMarcus, and I kind of think that's something that like leadership is, and it's growth. Because usually, if you're the star player and you get back in the game, you're gonna want the possession to go through you. But for him to pass it to LaMarcus and let him have that possession, it kind of shows that the whole bench that like they're still gonna get their looks. They might not get as many looks, especially when KD and Harden get back, but they will get their looks. And that's something that you will need to like acknowledge as a role player. Like I'm getting my looks, I'm good. Like they're not gonna just take 70 shots, all of them a game, and then we'll get like maybe five altogether. But they're gonna get their looks. They just gotta stay consistent. And the one thing I wonder about them is instead of them each taking four or five threes a game, if they get two threes or two or three three-pointers a game, how will they react to not shooting the ball consistently throughout the game? Will they stay warm or are they going to get cold by not touching the ball? But most of them are experienced players. They don't really have too many young pieces. So it's going to be good for them in the playoffs, especially with all that depth. Someone's not playing well, you can obviously take him out that game or that series, whatever it is. Um, so it's crazy. It's going to be fun to watch them. Obviously, I like good basketball. I don't
That's
like super
debatable.
teams, but you know,
I mean, I guess it is, interesting to watch, but I feel like this will get tired pretty pretty fast if they keep blowing out teams like this without
they
Kevin
played the
Durant and
Hornets.
James Harden and Blake Griffin.
Yeah, but
But
they played the Hornets. Like, you know,
I mean, I
that
guess that's a little disrespectful to the four seed, but
yeah,
it is the
but
East. It is
hey,
the East.
it's the East. I was gonna say, our picks real quick. I felt like the viewers and the whole internet should know this. It was obviously the Hornets at the Nets. It was the Nets -2, meaning they have to win by two. Me and Rich just thought, oh, it's gonna be the Nets, and Kyle here went on a limb and said the Hornets, and he's lost that. So
I mean, I put some respect on them. I thought, they're a solid team, and I still think they are a solid team, but Brooklyn is just I don't know, kind of crazy, kind of
they're
un
they're good, man.
yeah.
They're good.
W-
Who was your? Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I guess that you were about to ask me like who is my like most valuable player
Yeah,
or least
yeah.
valuable player. Uh, to kind of touch on that, one of the main problems that the Hornets have is their center position, because Bismack Biyombo and Cody Zeller not cutting it at all. They're not good on defense. I mean, Cody Zeller's all right. Bismack is passable, but I remember seeing one position where he had gotten switched on to Joe Harris, uh, and Joe Harris was one pass away, and his teammate was driving, and Biombo was helping off of Joe Harris one pass away, and I was like, dude, like that's the biggest no-no. Like you should know who Joe Harris is. You can't help one pass away. Like that's a three every time. But not that he's not that great of a rim protector. He's not that strong. He's not that big. He had so many like touches, like putbacks at the rim, and he missed like so many. Uh, they need. I think remembering there was probably I think there was a small trade rumor that Miles Turner might go to or might get traded or whatnot to, and I thought the Charlottes would be a good place for him. You know, he could be a defensive or he could be a great rim protector. Obviously, he is at Indiana, and he's not the best offensively, but I feel he could.
Oh yeah.
He has put up points in Indiana. He doesn't do it all the time. He's not their consistent scorer. He doesn't go to them, but Indiana is kind of weird when it comes to their big guys. They got two like really good big guys, but Miles Turner I feel would be a great spot for them. But yeah, they're one of their biggest issues right now is definitely their center position. They need a better rim protector and they need a better finisher at the rim too.
Oh yeah, Miles Turner would be a good pickup. I think it's something that they'll work over time. They have a lot of good pieces, but it's kind of like how every young team does. They just don't gel together like consistently every night. Some
Hmm.
nights they look like they're all on the same page, and some nights, like the first quarter tonight, they look like they're just five guys you pick up at 24 Hour Fitness. Um, they just take it down the court, one, two passes, dribble, and then shoot a three. It was looking like the wreck out there, but I think it's something over time. They'll add the right free agent veterans. They'll draft some more pieces, and well, Lamelo
Hmm.
Ball, and they have a lot of young pieces on their team. I do think they have too many guards. I think Devonte
I,
Graham, Lamelo, and Terry Rozier can't all play together, or they're going to be super
Malik Monk.
undersized. Malik Monk. I think they will probably trade some of them off and then add some wings and especially a center, like you said, um, just to make him consistently good every night because you can't just rely on guards every night. I think Portland figured that out. I think the Wizards will Wall and Beal figure that out, and then even Westbrook and Harden, and then Harden and Chris Paul figured that out. Harden's on my list a couple of times, uh, but who's your MVP for the night?
My MVP, I think I can easily say. Well, I mean, for Brooklyn, it was just like such as like spread out effort. But if I had to give it to one player, I'd probably say Jeff Green. Like
Yeah.
he's he's always like on. I feel like on so many of the teams that he's been on, like especially since his procedure, uh, you know, you thought that he would be out of the league, he wouldn't be able to play again, but on so many teams that he's been in, he's been like a valuable piece. He's been putting
Yeah.
in work and showing why he's such a sought after role player because he can get you buckets. And he's solid on defense as well. So probably Jeff Green in my opinion.
Uh, I'll probably have the cop out answer, I guess. Then I was gonna say Kyrie.
Mm,
Kind of kept that team, without your star players. Kept them focused, kept the energy level high.
mm,
15 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Kind of kept the ball moving, made sure everyone got their touches, everyone got their shots up. But it was a collective effort, and I think that starts with your leader, making sure everyone's involved in the game. You're not getting touches this possession or this quarter, but you'll get them. He definitely did a good job, kind of getting more of that point guard feel without Harden, because I usually Harden controls the ball up the court,
mm,
but without Harden, it's kind of nice to know that they can have Kyrie as a point guard as well. Obviously, that's his position, but to run it when Harden doesn't want to run it, or some nights, it's kind of good to have him. And I think he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Energy level never went away. Even on the bench, he was acting the fool, and on the court, he was doing his thing. Um, Probably the best finisher in the league. I've said that a couple times on the show. I'll say it again. He obviously has the best handles, but I think he's the best finisher. Left hand, right hand doesn't matter. He does some crazy stuff. He did get swatted on a dunk though. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
he did.
lie. He tried to yam it on a couple
Yeah,
people.
yeah. It didn't happen.
I was like, stay in your lane, bruh. But yeah,
uh,
definitely something I would look forward to seeing is them mashing together everybody when they're healthy.
I give credit to the Hornets though. It would have been really easy for them to just give up, after the first quarter, but like you said, they scored the same amount of points as the Nets in the second quarter, but just it was just that first quarter deficit was so bad that, and they were never able to get Brooklyn to stop scoring.
Yeah.
So they weren't able to come back. But I like their effort. They didn't quit. They didn't give up on the game. Like they kept fighting, and they weren't able to close the deficit. But I like the energy.
I think it's something with young teams trying to fight back. Like, I think they focus too much on offense and scoring and catching up point wise. They forget that defense is probably more important when you're down, because you can score all the time, but if you're not getting stops, the score is going to stay the same, or the lead, I should say.
At the same time, they're playing Brooklyn, so there's a defense can only go so
Yeah,
far.
but you can't make that excuse. You're in the NBA, and they had three of their stars out. You can't make that excuse.
All right. Well, is that all you have for this game?
That's all I have to say, man. It was a very one-sided game from the start.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So I think we're ready to move on to Denver versus LA. Uh, Rich, Rich, you there? Hello, hello. Ah, there he is. There he is. There he is.
I feel like WrestleMania. I feel like Edge just came off the top rope. I feel like Undertaker just came back from the dead. Easter is on Sunday. What's going on? It also feels like Brady Bunch when like it's two guys and there's a third
Yeah.
person that comes from the bottom of the screen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like mid show appearances. Here I am. I'm here to talk about the Clippers. Robin's like, what's going on? Why is there so much energy? That LA
He came
Clippers
out of the
versus
coffin like
He,
he came out of the coffin like Undertaker.
yeah, like that. Man, that Clippers Nuggets game was amazing. It was so fun to watch. It wasn't star-studded in the sense that all the stars were having the best of nights, but I think it's something that someone that just tuned in today is going to say, I want to see as much of the Nuggets as humanly possible. When they're not on national TV, someone's going to tune in and be like, I want to get them on League Pass. Let me subscribe to League Pass right now and watch as much Nuggets basketball as I can in the stretch run to the playoffs. Before I give everybody a summary of this awesome to watch game with a lot of awesome plays, what stood out mostly to y'all? What was your one sentence takeaway from this game? Kyle?
Uh, Going into this game, I was really focused on like watching Aaron Gordon and seeing his impact on the game, and man, like he's such a good addition to this team. Like it's so good.
All
It
right.
feels good when your prediction is right.
Aaron
Uh,
Gordon, good addition. Great
yeah.
prediction. Robin, where are we going?
Nuggets starting lineup is one of the best in the West now, no doubt.
Sick, sick. All right, best in the West.
Stacked.
Aaron Gordon is very good. Let me get you guys on this summary here. So the Clippers they were missing Ibaka, missing Rondo, but that didn't stop them from playing their features, namely Kawhi. And then Denver just getting Aaron Gordon in the lineup, but still not playing. JaVale McGee, three-time champion, recently joined the team along with Aaron Gordon. Had a lot of contributions right off the bat defensively. Man, they were playing on a string.
Yeah.
The Clippers, they couldn't quite keep up. They were getting a lot of turnovers, kind of got in a hole early. They were trying to fight back just a little bit. Terrence Mann had a lot of energy in spurts. Kawhi
For
Leonard
sure.
was barreling to the rim the whole time, but couldn't quite keep up. The Nuggets were moving the ball, moving the ball, moving the ball. Aaron Gordon was everywhere, and he wasn't shooting very well. I don't have the numbers right on top of me. I'm sure Robin's going to get them for me in a second, but bad from the free throw line. 1 for 4, I think. One for something.
One for four.
Yeah, no threes made, but he was just filling the empty spaces, going to the rim when Jokic was barreling himself and getting two defenders. Aaron Gordon was there. Third quarter came in. The Clippers narrowed it down to 5 points, and it was looking like, biting fingernails. This is what Mike Malone is afraid of. And then, Facundo Campazzo. Oh man, that dude.
Composite.
Yeah, Campazzo, man, that guy just keeps the ball moving. He doesn't do no-look passes exactly. He waits for the ball like this, and he waits for someone to pass it, and will immediately fire it away. Ball comes in, fires it away, and he keeps the ball rifling around that way. Fourth quarter came. My least favorite player that is very solid to watch, Zubats, was keeping the Clippers in the game. Solid blocks, solid lay-ins, and then Jokic had to come in and be like, all right, I'm back. I'm not here to block you because I don't get a lot of blocks. But he got a 3 in. He got some offensive rebounds, kind of amazing one-handed twisting lay-in over Terrence Mann, and him with Jamal Murray, and then also with Michael Porter blocking Kawhi Leonard. Aaron Gordon played terrific defense like Kawhi Leonard all game long.
Yeah.
Paul George got blocked by the rim, or no, just missed the layup. Sorry.
Yeah,
And
missed the layup.
all these things all compiled into the Nuggets getting their lead, cushioning it back up above 10. The reserves went in for 11 seconds of garbage time, and the Nuggets are now tied with 3 teams with 18 games in the loss column. They're kind of ranking their way up from the 5th seed, trying to get up to the 3rd seed. So now that I've taken everybody through it, what else? What was your favorite thing? Favorite thing on either side? Favorite plays that stood out to you guys? Kyle?
For me, it was really analyzing like and watching him guard Kawhi in the first half.
Talk about Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon. Uh, he really gave Kawhi a hard time. Like seriously, Kawhi was not getting easy buckets on him. They did throw a double at him like a couple times, but most of the times when Aaron Gordon was on him in the first half, uh, it he wasn't able to get a good shot off, if at all, if he had like attempted a shot. In the second half, however, Kawhi, he showed
He is
Aaron Gordon up.
relentless.
Yeah. He was like, I'm Kawhi Leonard. I can hit these turnaround fadeaways. Like I got that in my bag like that. So obviously Kawhi Leonard is Kawhi Leonard, but Aaron Gordon, I believe he did hit 1 3 early in the
Yeah,
game.
he was 1 for 4.
But yeah, uh, but yeah, him and Michael Porter Jr. They're really good defensively, and Aaron Gordon is critical, especially in this matchup against the Clippers, where they need his size to give Kawhi and PG and guys like that a harder time. Because the Clippers are really strong in the wing position rather than the point guard and the center. So it's really critical for them, uh, especially if they face them in the playoffs.
That's for sure. Good point. Michael Porter
Mhm.
Jr. made a comment earlier this week saying, I look at Aaron Gordon and it's like looking at my twin, like the Spider-Man meme. They're equally tall, they're both athletic, and they both
Yeah,
get lost on defense at times. They have good potential and they do get blocked at
yeah,
the right size, but it's a lot of times when it's kind of not a one-on-one defender situation, but when the ball's moving around and they lose sight of their man, they're not rotating properly and fast break. It happened in the fourth quarter of this very game. I got it bolded right here in my notes. Things like this are going to take time. Aaron Gordon is new to the team, but they're running down on the fast break, and running down on the fast break. Batum got a 3 off of Aaron Gordon blowing the coverage. Aaron Gordon's running down the court, and he points to the corner. Somebody pick up the corner, man. And then he's the furthest out to the right. It's him to do it. He doesn't cover, doesn't rotate over. Kind of just starts watching the ball as it goes to the rim, and then Terrence Mann kicks it out to Batum for 3, and it's a 3, and it's the one that Aaron Gordon pointed out. So that's just something that comes with time, and will come with Michael Porter Jr.'s development if he really focuses on the defensive end. But I like that you brought that up. Robin, you haven't mentioned what your favorite standout plays happen.
Uh, it's probably a couple of them. It was definitely, I was gonna say the whole Aaron Gordon guarding Kawhi, but I don't want to be a copycat, so I'll
Yeah.
throw in something else. It was Jamal Murray. Just watching him play, I've been waiting for the bubble Jamal Murray to show up this season and be more consistent throughout every game. He did it tonight. I mean, wasn't the best scoring 40, 30 points, but he did what he needed to do when he has other stars on his team. Michael Porter Jr., obviously the MVP. Jokic, front runner probably now, with everybody else hurt. Aaron Gordon, addition. Just did what he needed to do, got him a bucket when they needed a bucket. Um, Something I've been waiting for to see basically all season is him to do this every night. Kind of the same thing I'm seeing from Paul George. Like tonight, this was a game that I was expecting Paul George to kind of do more, help Kawhi when Kawhi's struggling a little bit. But 5 for 15 from Paul George, and then Reggie Jackson. I think a couple weeks ago we covered the game,
That's not a name I thought was going to come out of your mouth.
and let me tell you, I do not know why this guy's in the game. Like
Okay.
like they dished it out to him wide open corner in the fourth quarter, wide open
yeah.
3 in the corner in the fourth quarter, and he missed it. I think that would have made the game tied, or it would have been like a 2 3 point game, but he missed it. Like I just don't get why he's in the game. And I
Do you,
mean, go ahead.
quick question: Do you think Rondo's making that 3?
Rondo made a couple important threes last year in the bubble in their
Uh,
playoff run, though.
he did, but I it's still a question mark in my
I'd
opinion.
take Rondo over Reggie Jackson though. But
Probably, yeah.
that's
I
the
too would take Rondo over Ray Jackson, but I'm not a huge fan of either one. However, you mentioned someone that you were like, why are you even in there? I got to just take this time to give the honorary shout out to Patrick Patterson. This guy can dunk still. What is going on? Yeah, so they never stopped the ball on a Clippers fast break. Barden misses a lay-in, and then the Nuggets, who are playing pretty good defense for most of the game, never actually
Yeah.
stopped the dribble, so the ball skips around, leading to a Patrick Patterson dunk. That was his only made
Yeah.
shot. He misses to all three of his threes besides that one, and it's like, how does this guy always end up on the rotation after that, like those two good Raptor seasons? Gets hurt, goes to Oklahoma City. I follow him on Snapchat because it's like, oh, this guy's cool. He always goes to film festivals and stuff. I'm like, great. Oh, it's a good follow. I'm gonna see where he be going, what he be watching. And then he goes to Oklahoma, never plays, always hurt, rehabbing. I'm watching it on the Snapchat. The rehab is happening, but the results never come through on the court. Wherever he goes, it just never happens. And so it's like, why is he getting minutes? Why is Reggie Jackson getting minutes? This bench is not quite as deep as it might seem, and is that going to bite them when it comes to the playoffs? We don't know because they're going to shorten the rotations, especially with Tyronn Lue. But thank you for giving me that vehicle to slide in that slander, Robin.
That's what I do. I love slandering on this show.
Yeah, the thing about the Clippers, their depth did not show tonight. Outside of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Terrence Mann, nobody scored above 10 points.
I
No,
mean,
nobody had double digits.
Kawhi Leonard, Luke Kennard, it's Kennard, but it rhymes with Leonard, and Terrence Mann. They had some effort, but definitely not efficient scoring like you would want. And it's really tough to keep up when Paul George was having like a bizarro world nightmare of a game, which it just doesn't seem like whenever I'm tuning in that Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are both firing on all cylinders. It doesn't seem like a double barrel shotgun, you know?
Yeah. And the thing is, I believe their success hinges on PG. Like, when PG he was playing, I think, well in the third or early fourth quarter. That's when they started coming back. Like, so I believe like this. It doesn't matter what they do at the point guard position, like who they bring in or what they do at the center position or whatnot. I believe their success hinges on Paul George and his success.
Yeah, because Kawhi's going to be consistent every night. Even though he's going
Yeah.
10 for 22 tonight, like he was consistent. He still plays defense, gets
Mm,
boards, hits the dish out pass, even if they don't make the three. But it's really on Paul George to be more consistent. Like 17 points is fine, but 5 for 15 shooting is not. If you're going to miss 10 shots, at least do more. Like Kawhi missed 12 shots, but he was still driving, staying aggressive. I feel like Paul George sits at that 3-point line sometimes too much. And he doesn't attack as he should. I mean, he's tall, he can jump high, and he can take contact. He should drive more. He can make free throws, so he shouldn't be scared getting pushed.
Yeah.
But
You know what you just reminded me of? He kind of drifts around and he'll attack like maybe once or twice per quarter when he's not really feeling it. Last week you guys brought up Tyler Hero and how he can
mm,
get going to the rim sometimes, but sometimes he kind of overdoes it. It
yeah.
feels the same way sometimes with Paul George. He doesn't always seem to excel at taking contact, and neither does Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero often gets the most going in a game where it's like, oh man, this guy's everywhere. It's a surprise. He's got 30 points, 20 something points. And Tyler Hero gets that stuff going when he's attacking a defense that's already kind of in rotation and they haven't accounted for him yet. He's kind of squirting away from his man and squirting towards the rim and kind of out of control. I feel like Paul George could squirt in a similar way and not
Stop with
get
the
as bogged
squirt.
down and not get as bogged down by the contact, because like as soon as he gets even somebody thinks about touching him, he's looking right at the ref. Even when he's still going to the rim, he's already looking at the ref, looking for the call. So I just feel like he gets in his own head, unfortunately, especially when it comes to contact. So I wonder if that's something that we could see a differentiation on as they go towards the playoffs.
hmm Yeah, Paul George, I just want him to be as consistent as Kawhi is. There, like I said, in the third or fourth quarter when he kind of had it going, he attacked the basket a couple times in a row and he got the foul a couple times and he's I think an amazing free throw shooter. So that should be one of his strong suits. But I also feel like even in the first half, he wasn't contributing that much. He wasn't even out on the floor that much in the first half, I don't think.
Yeah, I
But
was
yeah,
wondering if it was hurt. I didn't see him for a good
yeah,
stretch.
yeah. So I also believe he probably needs to contribute a little bit more on the defensive end as well, but it depends on how long he's out there, and that's kind of on the coach Ty Lue. So we'll see uh, how it turns out as the season goes on a little bit more.
Yeah, and Paul George didn't really contribute in the defensive stat line either. No steals. Kawhi had two.
Mm,
It can be a little tough because a lot of times he was matched up on Michael Porter or Aaron Gordon, and it's tough to get
mm,
steals or blocks when your guy is slipping to the rim away from you, not dribbling and just going straight to the rim on a dunk. And like you got to keep eye on ball and man, of course, but you're not going to fill out the defensive stats when that's the action that they're getting.
mm.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty wild. Um, who do you guys have for MVPs? Do you want to talk about that already for this game?
Uh, yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and say Aaron Gordon because that I already started that train, so I'm gonna keep going with it. I was hyping up his defense earlier, but I didn't mention his offense, what he brought to offense too. He had 6 assists. Like one thing that stood out to me was his passing. In the post, he was hitting guys. Like I think that's one of the more underrated factors that he's bringing to this team. This Denver team has so many great passers, like Campazzo, obviously Jokic, obviously Murray. You know,
Mhm.
there was one time they got on a fast break, Campazzo and Aaron Gordon. I saw both of them. I was like, okay, something sick's about to happen. Uh, but it just turned into a simple like pick and roll, and then Campazzo hit Aaron Gordon on the roll. It wasn't as flashy as I expected, but they got the bucket, and then you know, if when you see stuff like that, Campazzo, Aaron Gordon pick and roll. Uh, Aaron Gordon's cutting to the rim. Michael Porter Jr. is cutting to the rim. Stuff like that. This team's gonna be sick, and I think they could be like top two in the West.
Easily. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Robin, were you about to say something?
Yeah. For my MVP, I'm picking Will Barton.
Ooh, nice.
Throughout
Yeah,
Under, yeah,
throughout all the
under
yeah,
mentioned.
yeah.
changes that this year when they were struggling, they were doing good. He's brought energy every night or every time I've seen them play. Cause I don't watch all
Hmm.
their games. I'm not a Nugget, I'm not a Nugget fan, but um,
You're not a
every
minor.
game, every national TV game, he has energy on defense. He's knocking down shots consistently. He was 50% from the field, 50% from the 3-point line. I believe he had like 4 assists, 3 boards, but just the overall effort. There's gonna be changes. Aaron Gordon coming in, I think Harris going out, but every night you know what you're gonna get from him to go along with Jokic, because sometimes even Murray struggles. But Will Barton did his thing today, 19 points, and I just think for them to have that consistent piece, he's gonna be an underrated person going into their playoff run if they want to have a good one like they did last year.
Yeah, man. He reminds me of Corey Brewer. Corey Brewer
Yeah.
led the league in fast breaks a couple years, and Will Bart's
Oh
not quite
yeah.
doing that, but he sure does. They run the same way. They run with their head forward like this, like right in the action. Like you don't know what's gonna happen, where they're going. He's called Will the Thrill for a reason. So when they need a shot in the arm, like oftentimes he's the one that gives it to them. So yeah, definitely. I like that one, and I forgot to even mention his awesome stat line, and really got him out the gate, especially when Jokic was going so slowly. He had two
Yeah.
fouls quickly, two dumb fouls, two reach-ins on fast breaks, and
Hmm.
another one on I think on Luke Kennard. Like, why are you fouling Luke
Yeah,
Kennard?
yeah.
He's gonna miss it on his own. And he was 2 for 7 to start. Got pulled out, and then he didn't play for like a lot of the second quarter after the net
Yeah.
because he pulled in the first. So yeah, Will Barton was really integral there. I'm gonna go off the cuff here, and I'm gonna say that Mike Malone is my MVP for this game because man, I just believe everything this man says. If you follow him on Twitter, if you follow him, you see the post game interviews, that man seems like he really is developing a good culture that people can buy into. So if for those of you guys that might not know, he was the Sacramento Kings coach before he was the Denver Nuggets coach, and he was the first coach that DeMarcus Cousins really said, "I like this guy. We connect." They went on a small winning streak. DeMarcus Cousins got bronchitis, went out. They lost like 9 games, and they fired Mike Malone without even asking DeMarcus Cousins. And then he went on to
Hmm.
Denver, where they've had a lot of success. And today on the broadcast, they were like, "What do you guys think about Aaron Gordon? Y'all have won 3 games in a row. Is Mike Malone gonna say anything bad? Obviously not." But he said this. He said, "We're glad to have him as part of our family." And I don't take that as just like hyperbole.
Mm.
He said it in the past to his guys after post-game press conferences in the playoffs. I love you, Jokic, I love you, Murray, this, that. And if he's nurturing a relationship between players like that want to play for each other, you guys saw the ball, moving around. You guys have been in pickup games where you don't like the guy that's on your team, or you feel like you
Mm.
haven't received the ball in a while. You're kind of in a funk. If he nurturing that culture can foster something like that, I think that's terrific. And it doesn't
Mm.
seem fake. You know what I mean? He seems like a
Yeah.
genuine man. So I'm gonna give him the MVP for being inclusive and getting Aaron Gordon out to a pretty good start going into the stretch run. Mike Malone.
My EVP, or runner up for MVP would be, I would give
What?
it to Terrence.
What are you talking about?
What is
What?
this, bro?
What would he be?
You just making up fake awards on the spot?
Uh,
What is EVP?
EVP. Okay.
What does that stand for? Wait,
the
tell me what it stands for.
I don't even know what it stands for, but
All right.
yeah, I heard, I watch
Extra.
CS:GO tournaments, and that's what they use for,
You
uh,
talking about Counter Strike?
yeah, Counter Strike.
Okay.
Yeah, they use it they give it to players in those tournaments that aren't the MVP but are like runners up pretty much.
Got it.
But
Okay.
anyways, I was gonna shout out Terrence Mann. He had great energy, getting buckets. He's developing well as a player, and I think if he sticks with the Clippers or wherever he goes, he has a bright future ahead of him.
Great. I'm glad he's your extra valuable player or
You,
whatever.
you killed my momentum.
You got
You
any
questioned what I said, so I was like, fuck.
you got any runners up that we should know about, Robin?
Yes, my
Uh,
EVP is I just wanted to
Oh,
say
I
it.
got one. I got one. It's so obvious. My VP is actually Jokic. He didn't have the best game. He closed out strong.
Yeah.
But the thing that I wanted just to bring up is he's at the 3-point line. There's kind of a half closeout by, I believe it
Yeah.
was Terrence Mann. And Jokic is like, okay, I can shoot this three. But instead, I'm going to turn my back to the basket and get a no-look behind the back pass to a cutting Aaron Gordon. Like, Jokic is so in command of the offensive end. He can create any shot that he feels like whenever he feels like it, as long as he's feeling good. And that is a command that few players in this league have. LeBron James
Mhm.
obviously comes to mind. So that's a wonderful thing to see from an MVP, even on an off night. So he's going to be my extra valuable player.
I was trying to think of like when the last time we watched the Nuggets play on national television. I think it was on Christmas, and Jokic. It was against the Clippers as well too, I think.
Yeah,
And
that's what their first game, and
uh,
they're
yeah,
now 1-1 in the season series.
yeah. Jokic didn't have the greatest game either, there, but you know, especially in this game, you still felt his impact. Like he wasn't scoring, but he was creating baskets, irregardless. I feel like, especially in the first half or the first quarter, he got like a block and he was contributing on defense, rebounding. Uh, but yeah, he's always, even if he's not scoring, he's contributing to the team scoring.
Yeah, and great job by the Nuggets defense playing on a string. Like I said, they forced
Mm,
two 24-second violations on the on the Clippers, I believe in the
mm,
second quarter. One of them,
yeah,
or maybe it was the third. One of them was that Kawhi Leonard buzzer beater that they reviewed and took away
yeah,
because it was too late. So that's effectively another 24-second violation. Even though the
mm,
results of the shot that went in on that second buzzer beater that they initially thought it went in, Michael
mm.
Malone was on the sidelines. He didn't let that shot falter his enthusiasm. He was clapping, saying, "Great defense for 24 seconds," despite
Yeah.
what the result of the shot was. It's like Jeff
Mm.
Van Gundy says, "Write the story while the ball's in the air." That's what he was doing. So that's what I always appreciate.
Yeah. This Nuggets defense looks really good.
Um,
They
mhm.
they were kind of wishy-washy earlier in the season, but now they look a lot more solid.
Yeah, they were solid last year, and it was a big question of the first half of this season. And if they can go out like this, a lot of people are going to have them on their short list. You mentioned, you're not sure if we've seen that many Nuggets games so far on national TV. It'll be kind of fun to see the list of all the games that the results of the games that we've covered so far this year, or at the end of the season, because I always mark the show files as the 2 winners. So I've seen the Blazers on there a couple times. He's been on there a couple times. It'll be fun to tally up who we've seen win the most matchups and have some arbitrary award for that.
LVP.
The LVP, least valuable.
Oh my god.
Just real quick, our picks. So it was the Nuggets, obviously at the Clippers. It was Nuggets -2. You guys picked the Nuggets. I picked the Clippers. So we're 1-1 for the month of April.
Yeah, you're getting on me for picking the Hornets. I gotta get on you for picking the Clippers.
At least mine was, somewhat close.
Didn't I get them both? Didn't I get them both right? Did I not?
Yeah, you.
Oh yes,
yeah,
you're 2-0. Sorry.
2-0
Yeah.
at the moment.
You'll end up being last place again, but
We'll see what happens. I'm not gonna repeat this time, and we still have a couple weeks to decide my punishment for the month. So stay tuned for that, guys. What are we watching next week? Who's got it pulled up? Kyle, you don't got this pulled up, man?
it's a good question.
What do we pay you for?
I can pull it up real quick.
All right, next Thursday, April 8th. It's not even coming up.
Yeah, for me, for this week it didn't show me. Okay, ooh, well, I say ooh, but okay, next week Thursday, April 8th, it's the Lakers and Miami. I said ooh because I thought that would be fun, but there's no AD, no LeBron, so it'll be mid from the Lakers, and then the other game will be Phoenix and the Clippers.
Rubbing my hands together, I'm so ready.
I look forward to watching Phoenix.
Chris
on
Paul
national
revenge
television.
game.
Yeah,
Even though he left them voluntarily.
yeah. But yeah, I think both of those games could be interesting, especially the second one.
Nice. All right, guys. So we do want to challenge our listeners, those of you guys that tune into the show. Shout out to Jay. Thanks for leaving the comments. Thanks for being in our mentions. Really appreciate that. Please keep enjoying the show. Keep tuning in. Let us know how we can improve it. We challenge you guys to watch the show yourselves in real time along with us. Feel free to tweet at us during the game so we can interact, respond, hear your takes, submit a question, and we are actually gathering responses for a mailbag episode. Please ask us anything you guys want to know. It could be basketball related, not basketball related. Robin and Kyle have not been on the show as long as I have. Maybe you guys want to know more about them, have some perspective on something that happens in our lives, some sports history, basketball history, what have you. If you want to ask it,
You're not that
we want to
interesting,
answer.
Robin.
Man, shots fired. We don't know why Robin's catching these strays, but where I asked for the mailbag, where can people submit questions, guys? Robin, can you tell the people where to submit anything that they want to know or any kind of feedback?
Obviously, social media, Twitter or Instagram. Kyle said at the beginning of the show, I'll repeat it. It's at Shotcallers Show, right? Okay. I went blank.
Shotcallers Show, yes.
And the same thing to our email as well, right? They can send it, right?
Shotcallershow@gmail.com. That is shotcallershow@gmail.com. And then if they want to leave us any podcast feedback, Kyle, where can they find that?
They can find us on the two that I know, Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
We're also on Breaker, Radio.com, Stitcher,
There you go.
Pocket Cast, Google Podcast, wherever
Google
podcasts
Podcasts,
are
okay.
sold. We'll get you a
Yeah.
list, Kyle.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you guys have for this episode?
No, not really. It was a good show. We heard some interesting takes. We'll see what the viewers think about that.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We look forward to recording again next week. For myself, for Kyle, for Robin, I'm Rich, and we are the Shotcallers. We will see you
The
guys
boys are
next time.
back.
Yeah, full squad.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday.
Thursday. All right.